well, there are several factors that contributed to the development of AI in the latest years. First of all, it is probably the availability of a big amount of data in digital form that made algorithms use those data to build models that were unfeasible before that. But this is not the only factor. The other one is probably the availability of specialized hardware to a scale that was unprecedented. This was the key enabler to many labs and research entities to actually develop those models. And these are probably the two key factors, together with another one, which is let me say more in the creative side. That is the invention, the research of new modern architectures, and that unleashed the way to developments like large language models. Probably one of the most important ones is one of the transformer, which dates back to 2017. So these three enablers were the key ones to make it happen. The scenario in which artificial intelligence now is how we know it. Normally, when we approach and use artificial intelligence components that are available in the state of the art or as commercial services, we are very, let's say, surprised by the performance that they show. But when you try to integrate them in a real process, in a real workflow in your company, you soon realize that there are some gaps that must be filled. These gaps, we call these gaps operational gaps. Basically, the operational gap is what is needed to put in between the component and the actual exploitation to make it work properly. This is a critical factor that we observe and we have found several times in our experience, and it is not, let's say, it is not cheap to fill that gap. Normally, you have to put in place data cleaning, data selection, filtering, refinement, and even procedural components to adapt what is let's say, the native output of the AI components to something which is really useful in practice. Well, if we put ourselves back in 2000 and let's say 22, early 2022, probably most, if not all, of what we see today were unthinkable. So the possibility to write a summary of a text with perfect language, like in Italian or other languages, or the possibility to generate images just described in them, or the possibility to translate content from a language to another with a good enough quality, or again to dub a content in a foreign language in a way that is undistinguishable from a native speaker. These are just examples of things that were probably something like sci-fi in a couple of years ago. Today, all this is possible. I'm not meaning that the quality that you get is always perfect, is always in line with what would be done by, let's say, a human operator, but we are very close. We have a very long experience in this field that dates back well before everyone knows it, like artificial intelligence. So our first experience with automation in information technology dates back probably to 2001, 2002, when we integrated one of the first speech-to-text engines in our systems. What is the value of having an R&D department in a company addressing these topics? I think my opinion is that the added value is that of knowing the domain. which is not a default, in the sense that if you are deeply ingrained with the processes of your company, and you know what are the roles, what are the issues, what are the let's say the requirements of your value chain, you are also able not only to select the most appropriate tools, but also to understand what are the limits and of a good usage, or maybe you are also able to perform and to design benchmarking in a way that is really useful. So I would say that an internal R&D, of course, is a very key element in order to adopt AI, not just blindly, but in a way that is meaningful and according to your requirements. This is even more true in the case of PSMs, where there are additional complexities that are related to all the, let's say, external requirements that we have to comply with, like, for example, ethics or governmental rules that, let's say, add another layer which is not present in, let's say, in the private sector. So after all, overall, I would think that I would encourage everyone, if possible, to have a small team of internal researchers.